Hey guys, and welcome back to the Minnesotan Sports Podcast. And sorry for the other Minnesota sports fans out there, but my wife was rooting for the Eagles, unfortunately. But I was rooting for the Chiefs, and they did end up winning this game 38-35 on a last-second field goal. I was rooting for the Chiefs already a little bit, and then the Eagles fans in the crowd started booing Dak Prescott for being recognized as the man of the year, which is pretty classless. Like, you can boo him all you want, like, on the field, he's playing the game, you're just trying to get to him, and that's fine. But when you're booing him for doing work, volunteer work in the community, and being just, like, a great leader in the community, that's just classless. So, for the sake of Eagles fans, I'm really glad that the Eagles lost. The unfortunate thing is the last penalty that was called, that defensive holding was called, and I don't think it was necessarily, like, I do think there was a little bit of a tiny hold, but the way they were calling it all game, it's unfortunate because it was such a well-called game before that. There was only a couple calls that could have gone the other way. All the challenges were handled excellently, but that was that one call at the end that really changed it a whole lot, because the Chiefs would have kicked the field goal a lot earlier. The Eagles would have had 2 minutes to try and go down the field. Regardless of who would have won, it would have made for a much better ending to the game. So it's unfortunate that it had to end that way. But at the end of the day, the Eagles were up 24-14 at the half, and Patrick Mahomes just took over. He really is the best quarterback in the league right now, and the more Super Bowls he wins, the more he makes a case for going up the totem pole. Obviously, he's only in his 5th, 6th year right now, so you can't say he's, like, getting in any kind of conversations because you have to play your whole career. But I definitely think that he's making more and more of a case for himself as his career goes along. There's just things, even with a busted-up ankle, with him not being as mobile as he usually is, he just gets the job done, and he's just a freak of nature in every way. So he led the way. Travis Kelce was obviously always a contributing factor. This Chiefs offensive line almost outplayed the Eagles offensive line, which was really impressive. And the defense held its own against Jalen Hurts when it mattered. Even though 35 points were given up, there were still moments when they needed to stop to get the Chiefs back on top, and they were able to do it. A few 3-and-outs later in the fourth quarter, or earlier in the fourth quarter, that were big factors as well. So the two losing factors of the game were, or the two things I didn't like about the game were the refs at the very end and the turf, or the field. It was grass field, but it was just very, I don't know if it was even badly maintained or what, but it just, a lot of people were slipping. They had to change out cleats. Let's just get players a field that they're not going to slip on and potentially get hurt and everything like that. So that was the other thing I wasn't a big fan of. But other than that, it was a really good Super Bowl. Again, I wish it could have ended in a more exciting way, but the Chiefs deserved to win that game. They deserved to win after how well they played all season long, and the two best teams in the league met in the Super Bowl. One of them had to win, and it was a good game through and through. At the end of the day, I don't think the Bengals could have gotten that close against the Eagles. As well as Joe Burrow played all season long, I just don't think they had the all-around talent to, especially on the defensive side, to match with the Eagles. So it was a really good game, and they win 38-35, and now the second Super Bowl in 4 years for the Chiefs, and I think there's going to be a few more before Mahomes retires. So that's it for me. It's been a great season. It's time to head in.
And next year, or the next couple of years, we're going to be saying Skol at the Super Bowl.
I don't believe that, but I'm hoping. I'm trying to get more positive about things and more optimistic. So I'm hoping, but I don't see it. I guess we'll see what happens. But we're going to now head into the dark ages, where there's no football now for another 5-6 months. But there's plenty of stuff to talk about. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to be going over what I think the Vikings should do, including possibly a controversial take on the running back situation. Spoiler alert, I want to get rid of both of them. We'll see what I think, what the reason is for that. and just other things with Brian Flores. I haven't made a proper video introducing him yet. I'll do that, and then I'll just go over everything of the off-season, the draft, everything leading up to next season. So a lot more to talk about, a lot of baseball to talk about, because that's coming up in a few months. So a lot of exciting things still on the way, but thank you so much, and I'll see you on the flip side.